Hi YouTube, it's Emma Blue Eyes 10 here, and as promised, here is the Blue Eyes Dragons deck update. I have been promising you guys for a couple of months, to say the least. All I can say is that this deck has been a real pain in the neck to edit for the past wee while. Main problem that has been with the deck is that because I literally dropped out of the tournaments about just after October. I mean, I was only in the October tournament, to be honest. I kind of lost track of what the meta was like and everything, and as you guys saw from a lot of my videos, apart from some stuff on Dueling Network, I pretty much got run over basically, and it was quite depressing when that happened, because obviously, you know, Blue Eyes normally does okay against some of those decks and everything that I've been dueling against, but I just pretty much got run over, steamed over, and there was nothing I can do about it. So I had to think really hard about what I wanted to achieve in the deck again, and I tried many different angles. I tried some elements from the Chaos Dragons, I've tried some elements from Disaster Dragon, and I've tried some elements from other dragon decks by looking over the internet and YouTube and everything, trying to get inspiration for a deck build that would suit me, still be fun, but still, you know, be able to mess up other decks to an extent at least, and still play to an extent competitively in the meta and everything. So I've actually got a deck, I've actually got the build here now. I really like it. It's been quite a major change for the deck, to say the least. So I'll show you guys that in a moment. I just want to say a big thank you and big shout outs to Darkertician84, Scapegoat User, Darkness L 1989, Kalo Shade, my sister, Heavenly Guinea Pig 666, my boyfriend Jinrai Prime, sorry, I keep pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry, and a shout out to the guys at the locals as well, because everyone has pitched in ideas and suggestions about what I can do with the deck and everything, and they've all contributed to making the deck better, so thank you very much guys, I really appreciate it. So anyway, let's actually get onto the deck review. So here we go. Okay, it's a Blue Eyes deck, as you guys know, and I'm going to start off with, of course, the Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, which is my absolute favourite monster in the entire game. She cannot be special summoned except by offering a Ultimate Dragon, or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, that I control. She gains 300 attack for every dragon monster in my graveyard, and she can negate targeting effects, so a pretty powerful card. She's the main aim of the deck, the win condition if you like, that I try to get out. It's not very often I get her out. I would wish there were quicker ways to do so, but it's not easy, unfortunately. But it doesn't matter, I still play her because I really like her. Then we have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, because no Blue Eyes deck should be without 3 dragons, except I have seen a few deck variants where they do just have 2 sometimes, or 1, and they still call it a Blue Eyes deck, but everybody's different, it's all player preference. Then we have 3 White Stones of Legend. When it's sent to the graveyard, it automatically adds a Blue Eyes White Dragon to my hand. It's a level 1 tuner as well, if I ever need to synchro or anything with it. Then we have 3 Light and Darkness Dragon. Now, I have considered other cards like Effect Veiler and Fiendish Chain and that sort of thing, but Light and Darkness Dragon, it just shuts down everything. And it's a 28 beat stick if its power is not used at all, and it's a very good resurrection card. You know, when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can choose a monster in the graveyard and resurrect it, so it just messes up a lot of people, and it's a dragon as well, so it's just so good. I mean, I absolutely love Light and Darkness Dragon. I think it's one of the best cards in the game, to be honest. It just shuts down everything, and you know, a lot of players often try to get around her as quickly as they possible and end up wasting resources to an extent. But she's a really awesome card. I absolutely love Light and Darkness Dragon. You might think 3 is a bit excessive, but I think 3 is always good, just in case, because there will be times where you might lose one to like a banish card or something, and you've got no way to get them back. So at least if you've got 2 others waiting in the deck, or another one in the deck waiting, then you've got a good chance of getting it. Then we've got 2 Alexandrite Dragon, just as a 2000 attack beat stick normal dragon monster. Back in the deck is 2 Vanguard of the Dragon. Now we haven't seen this card for quite a while. because it's kind of one of those love-hate cards. I like it for its effects and everything, but at the same time, sometimes I don't like it because it's a bit tricky to use. You can send one dragon type monster from your hand to the graveyard to have this card gain 300 attack, so it's a permanent attack boost, which is pretty cool. When this card you control is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon a dragon type normal monster from either graveyard. So if Blue Eyes is in the graveyard, it's an excellent resurrection card for that, or I can even use it with the Alexandrite dragon if I need to do some combos with that. But it's very good for, like, saying, putting the white stones into the graveyard, since of course we no longer have, us dragon players no longer have access to things like Future Fusion. It's also very good for putting another dragon in the graveyard, which I will get to in a moment. One Delta Flyer. It's a synchro monster, not a synchro monster, a tuner monster, and once per turn you can select another face-up monster I control and increase its level by 1. So you guys are probably going to guess what's actually going to be in the extra deck now that I have this in the back in the deck then. 2 Mass Dragon, just to search out any dragon with 15 attack or less to the field. I have to admit, I really missed using Mass Dragon, and even though to some extent some battle searching is still not happening with some decks, that doesn't really matter. I mean, it was such a good card. I think I was a bit of a numpty for taking it out in the first place, but I needed to make room for other cards. But it's back in the deck now. It's a really good engine, very good, just an overall very good card for dragon decks. Also making a comeback is 3 Totem Dragon. Now this is a brilliant card for dragon decks. Because I don't use Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, this is my main way of tributing out for, say, Light and Darkness Dragon or the Blue Eyes. It can also be comboed with the Delta Flyer to go into Synchro monsters or Exceed monsters, depending. Quite a versatile little card. It acts as 2 tributes for the summon of a high level dragon type monster. And it's like a Treeborn Frog. In the standby phase, if I control no monsters, I can resurrect it in attack mode. But unfortunately it's banished from the field if I use that effect. But with some combos I can reuse it to an extent. But most of the time it's just there to tribute for Light and Darkness Dragon or Blue Eyes mainly. And Vanguard of the Dragon is also very good for getting rid of any totem dragons that you might have in your hand as well. So it sets up the graveyard basically. Spell cards now, we have Polymerization as my main way of getting into fusion, my fusion, which is Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I was running Dragon's Mirror for a while, but then I ran into the problem of I wanted the dragons back from the banished, and I was testing all many sorts of cards, and I ended up making an absolute mess of the deck. So I'm just going for Polymerization because it's easier, it's more fun, and if someone, say, plays a Solemn Warning or something on it, because sending fusion materials are not a cost, it means I get to keep the Blue Eyes. So say if I've got a Blue Eyes on the field, 2 in the hand, and I play Poly and someone Warnings it or Solemn Judgments it or Dark Bribes or whatever, then it means I've still got the Blue Eyes on the field, it doesn't go anywhere, and I've still got the 2 in my hand ready to do other combos with if that strategy fails. Then we have the staples of Monster Reborn to resurrect, Dark Hole to blow up the field, Heavy Storm to blow up spells and traps, 2 Mystical Space Typhoon. Yes, one is a gold rare. I pulled that in a pack and I was quite happy because I've never seen it, a ghost rare version. It's quite cool. And then we have 2 Pot of Duality, just to pick one of 3 cards to add to the hand. Got 2 Photon Sanctuary, just as a backup to summon out Blue Eyes or Light and Darkness Dragon. I was going to run 3, but then I'd figured that'd be too much, because to be honest, I don't think I'd be using all 3 Blue Eyes or all 3 Light and Darkness in one duel, unless it happens to be really epic and long. But that's just a backup there in case I do not have the Totem Dragons in the graveyard or any sacrifices on the field. It special summons 2 Photon Tokens, which are in defense position. They can't attack, cannot be used for synchro materials or exceed materials. And I can't summon anything else but light monsters that turn, but that's okay because since they're targeting either, or since they're only going to be used for the Blue Eyes White Dragon or the Light Darkness Dragon, they're both light types anyway, so it's a good little combo there. Here's one of the biggest changes, 3 Dragon Ravine. Now I'm surprised I did not use this card before when Future Fusion got banned, to be honest, because I was in that mindset of that I thought this would be best only in Dragoonity decks, because it did come out in the Dragoonity deck, it was pretty much built for Dragoonities, but its secondary effect, once per turn during your main phase, you can discard 1 card to activate one of these effects. Add 1 level 4 or lower Dragoonity monster from the deck to the hand, or send one dragon type monster from the deck to the graveyard. Now, there have been quite a few times where I maybe don't have any white stones in my hand or totems in my hand, and I need to get them into the grave, but they're all in the deck. This is very good for doing that. It's slower than Future Fusion, and it's a little bit slower than Foolish Burial as well, but Foolish Burial only targets one card and it's still limited. If that was semied, then I probably wouldn't have a problem. But Dragon Ravine's pretty good because there's been quite a few times where, I said, sometimes I might not have any white stone or totems in the hand to discard. With this effect, I'll have to discard something else to send a totem or white stone to the grave to get the effects and everything. But there's many times where I've got like white stone in the hand, I discard it, send totem to the graveyard, I've got a Blue Eyes in my hand, and next turn if you wipe out my field, you know you've got a Blue Eyes coming. Yes, it's a bit of an obvious strategy, but you know that there's a Blue Eyes coming around the corner, because there's obviously a totem dragon in the graveyard, you know something big is coming around the corner. And then we've got 2 terraforming just to search out the Dragon Ravine, because I had something else in place of terraforming, but I decided to add it in instead because it obviously thins the deck a bit quicker, and there was a few times where I wanted a Dragon Ravine in my hand but I never drew into it, so Terraform is quite a good little card. I don't have any other draw cards except for Pot of Duality. I could put in 1 trade-in, but I don't know yet. I'm still debating whether or not to do that. I mean, it probably would be a good idea because obviously I've got 3 Blue Eyes, 3 Light and Darkness Dragon. Most of the time I probably won't use all of them up, or they could clog the hand. But as I said, I'm not entirely too sure about it yet. I'm just going to keep testing the deck until I decide I need to do that. But anyway, getting off track here, going back onto the trap cards now. Of course we have 2 Mirror Force, because who wouldn't run 2 Mirror Force? It's just an absolute epic card. And then we have 3 Call of the Haunted to resurrect anything I need within the deck. Now, even though there is Heavy Storm and 3 MSTs and 3 Night Beams and that out there, it's still pretty good for doing a lot of combos. For example, if someone plays MST on it, I chain Call of the Haunted, bring back a white stone, I get, you know, its effect to add Blue Eyes to White Dragon to the hand. Or if I've only got 1 Totem Dragon in the graveyard but I really need it to stay in the graveyard, then I can play Call of the Haunted to resurrect it. That way I don't lose Totem Dragon if I really need it for another combo the next turn. So anyway, that is the main deck there. As I said with the trade-in, I could swap out 1 Call of the Haunted for it. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'm just going to test it out and see how it goes. On to the extra deck now. Of course we have 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which is a 45 attack beat stick basically, and the tribute fodder for the Blue Eyes Shining Dragon. Now, if you've probably already guessed from Delta Flyer, yes, I am running the Synchros again because I really missed these guys. First off is Ancient Fairy Dragon, because she's good with field spells now that I'm running a field spell card. Once per turn you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from the hand. Can't conduct the battle phase if you do that. Once per turn you can destroy a field spell card. If you do, gain 1000 life points. You can add a field spell from your deck to your hand. Now, I was just going to run this for the field spell, but I decided not to because obviously I might not be able to get into her, but it's quite a good wee effect there in case I don't have another terraforming, or if I run into, say, Dark Worlds and it happens to be a field spell mirror match, you know, trying to get out our field spells as quickly as possible, or things like that. Then we have 1 Black Rose Dragon just to blow up the whole field if needed. 1 Stardust Dragon just to stop destruction and all that now, especially now that since Solemn Warning has gone down to 1, thank God. It means things like Bottomless Trap Hole and 2 Torrential Tribute and that will be coming back more than likely, so Stardust is pretty good for getting around that sort of thing to an extent alongside Light and Darkness Dragon. Then we've got 1 Black Feather Dragon, because there have been a couple of times I've gone up against some burn decks or burn damage cards, and Black Feather Dragon or Black Winged Dragon is actually quite good for stopping burn, and it's a 28 attack beat stick anyway. So for Exceeds now, we have 2 number 17 Leviathan Dragon. Main combo I normally get into this is resurrect a Totem Dragon, summon Delta, increase Totem to level 3 and then overlay, so that means I get to reuse Totem Dragon if I detach it as an XYZ material. I can also go into it with like 2 Masked Dragons or things like that, so yeah. Then we have 1 Queen Dragoon Djinn. Dragon type monsters I control cannot be destroyed by battle except her. And once per turn I can detach one XYZ material from this card to resurrect a level 5 or higher type dragon from the field. It can't target Light and Darkness unfortunately because that cannot be special summoned, but it's good for targeting the Blue Eyes if needed, or even Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon if it's been summoned properly, of course. However, the monster can't attack that turn and its effects are negated, but that's okay since they're non-effect monsters anyway. It's not too bad. And then we have one Hieratic Sun Dragon Lord of Heliopolis, 2 level 8 monsters for this card. Once per turn, you can detach one XYZ material from this card, tribute any number of monsters from your hand and or your side of the field, minimum 1, and then destroy an equal number of cards. So that's a good card there. For example, if I've got a powered down lad and a Blue Eyes White Dragon, or 2 Blue Eyes or 2 lad on the field, I can overlay and go into this. Very good for getting rid of like any annoying back row or annoying cards that happen to be on the field. And it's also like, you know, supposed to be an Egyptian god as well, so it's pretty awesome. Anyway guys, that is the Blue Eyes Dragons deck. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry this video was quite long because obviously I'm trying to explain everything, all the major changes and all that. But I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will get some duel videos of this deck in action soon via Duel Network and hopefully over Skype and real life as well. But until then, take care, and from me and the Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, we are signing out, so bye!